Hey everybody, welcome to our Forza Motorsport 5 video review. I'm Ryan Teljanik and I have not even played this game at all.
And I'm Donnie Taryn and I have played the game.
Alright Donnie, so tell me, what separates Forza from other racing games and what is new in Forza Motorsport 5?
So what's new in Forza Motorsport 5? They haven't added too many things from the previous Forza Motorsport game. It's pretty much just, they actually reduced the car count quite a bit and reduced the track count. They did add a few new things, a few new modes. They added open-wheel race cars for the first time. But for the most part, all you're getting is greatly improved graphics and more of the same world-class driving simulation that Forza has been in the past.
So let's talk about the graphics real quick. I mean, this being an Xbox One exclusive, it's made just for next-gen consoles. So tell me, how does it look?
So it does look quite a bit better. I don't think anybody's going to be, have their jaw drop to the floor upon seeing it, but it does look quite a bit better than before. It's there are a few times when you're crashing into cars and you're seeing sparks fly and you're getting a lot of those nice particle effects that everybody likes to talk about with the next gen. And
right,
it looks really nice. But for the most part, it's more as expected than astounding.
Okay. Sure. So, I mean, as you said, Forza series is kind of known as a fantastic racing simulation series. How is the driving in this? Is it markedly different than before? Does it really still feel pretty similar, or how is it?
Yeah, so to most people, you're not going to notice a huge difference with the driving simulation. The developers like to tout that the simulation is greatly improved, that they're tracking all sorts of different variables now that they haven't been before. But for the most part, to the untrained, uninitiated, you're going to see very little difference from the past, but that's okay because they're just continuing to refine it and it still plays as good or better than any other driving simulator out there.
Okay, and how's the AI of the other drivers on screen when you're not playing multiplayer?
Right, yeah, so the AI is actually something that they're sort of touting as the biggest new improvement. They say that the Forza has no AI drivers and instead has the Drivatar system, which is a goofy name, but it basically uploads all of your behavior to the cloud, and then basically gives you a simulated version of other players in your game as you're playing. So what you're seeing is stuff that they could have never programmed for the AI to do. But in practice, it's still pretty easy, and you're not really noticing any tricky behavior. You're not seeing players playing aggressively or ramming into you or anything like that. That you would see in like a multiplayer game, but there is some more unpredictability that does happen from it.
Oh, cool. Now you mentioned earlier that there's been a huge reduction in car count, in track count even. I mean, Forza Motorsport 4 had something like 500 cars in the game, and now this one has like 200. Is that, obviously that's a huge disparity, but is it super noticeable when you're playing? Are there enough cars there to keep you happy, or does it really feel like it's just been way too stripped down?
Yeah, I mean, it is a huge reduction. I think a lot of people are going to notice a few cars that are like sorely lacking, few favorites of mine. They took out, something like the Nissan 300ZX, one of my favorite cars, and stuff like that. So everybody's going to have one like noticeable car that's missing from the game. But for the most part, it's still a ton of cars. Every car is now available in the Forza Vista mode, which they called Auto Vista last time, which means that they're rendered like impossibly detailed, where it's like even the inside of the car, the cockpit and everything. They didn't have that before.
Those are the screenshots where everyone couldn't tell if it was real or a video game.
Exactly, right? So before it was, you had 24 cars that were completely 100% fully rendered, and that was in Forza Motorsport 4. Now every single car is rendered completely, so you can kind of go inside and sort of like fetishize the car into like great detail. But there's still a ton of content in the game. So it's not super noticeable, particularly if you haven't played the previous game.
Okay. And last of all, tell me a little bit about the career mode and multiplayer. How do those kind of compare and differ from Forza Motorsport 4?
Yeah, so the career mode actually, unfortunately, is one of the places where it does feel a little bit stripped down. In the past, you'd have sort of a guided career path through this massive event list that you could do, and you could do the events in any order that you chose, or you could do the career mode, which would sort of guide you and take you through, and it even sort of tailored to your playstyle in some cases, and that was kind of a cool way to experience the career. This time, it's really just the event list. You can just go through and you pick the events as you choose, and there's no bonuses or anything like that depending on what you pick, and it's just you go through whatever order you want, and it's sort of it feels underwhelming, even though it's essentially the same thing.
Sure. And multiplayer matches just more of racing against other people?
Yeah, more racing against other people and doing horribly at it. Unless you're totally fantastic. I don't think anybody's really going to get a ton of fun out of the multiplayer unless you're really great at the game or you have a lot of friends that you can play with. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, matchmaking options are there. Game customization options are pretty cool. Feel maybe a little bit more limited than in the past, but otherwise, it's a good showing for that.
Cool. And what'd you end up scoring in the game?
So I ended up going with a 4 out of 5 on this one. I think it's a really fantastic game. It's a really terrific package with a ton of content. And it's only really disappointing in the light of the previous games. So otherwise, I mean, if you've just purchased an Xbox One, I think this is a no-brainer.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Johnny, for helping us out with that. And if you want to read the full review, be sure to check out GamesRadar.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter and on Facebook, all those wonderful things, and we'll see you there.